Hello everyone. We have now so far we have seen say three. We have seen the integers. We have seen floating point numbers. We have what is that? That's a string. And we also saw list to right. And we saw tuple, right? So we have seen integers, floating point numbers, strings, we saw list, we saw tuple, right? And as we can see, as we have seen in the previous discussion, when you just write with a comma, it is a tuple. So this whole thing is a tuple of different things, right? So we have a tuple of integers, float, strings, and this tuple also contains a list, which in turn contains an integer, a float, and another tuple, which also contains mixed types. So we see all this stuff. Now let us take, for example, let us create a list. Let us create a list, right? X equal to, for example, men and say women, men and women, and let's say their corresponding numbers be say 100 and maybe 110, So we have let's say it's a group of people. There are some men, some women, and there's 100 men and 110 women. Now we can say, we have x of 0, right, is related to y of 1, right, and x of 1 is related to y of 1. So we can, as we have seen, we can just write a loop and say for I in range, right, 2, I can say print x of I, y of I, right? So I can do that. I can, if it is a list of say 100 items and another list corresponding numbers or age, or so I can correlate them just by this way. But there is another way using another data type that we are going to look at today. And what we can use is we can use dictionaries. So we can use dictionary basically, which is a pair of what? Pair of we'll say key value. So we can so for example, I can associate men with 100, women with 110 directly using a dictionary as a key value pair. And how do we write it? I can start by saying, say my dict, for example, my dict is, this is in curly brackets. I start with an empty dictionary. Now my dict, you can see type of my dict is a dictionary. Now I can say I can add values. The way I use is indexing only, but this time I am going to use a key. I'm going to say men, and I'm going to put the value as 100. So which means the key key man is associated with the value 100. So now now I can create my dict, right, of women equal to say 110. Here women, the key women is associated with the value 110. So now if I look at, I get this is my dictionary. So this is what you see here is a dictionary. And now I could have also, rather than initializing an empty dictionary and then afterwards associating the values like we would do for a equal to, you know, I can do like that, no? A dot append 10, right? And that's what I did now. I started with an empty list here, empty dictionary, and then I filled up the dictionary with keys and values. Rather than that, I can just start like a list, you know, as we do. I can just start saying, you know, 10, right? Is 10. So in that way, how do we do it? I can just say my dict 2 equal to, for example, man, right, 100, and women 10. So and my dict 1 is same thing. So we can see here when we discussed a, right, when we discussed a tuple or a list, what we said was that it is positionally arranged, which means in this case a of 0 is 10, a of 1 is 20, and so on and forth. I also can update the value at a particular index, right? 0, 1, 2, 3. I can, since we saw what is lists are mutable, I can change the value at a particular index. Now here, rather than 0, 1, 2, 3, etc., the whole idea of a dictionary is in the keys, which means I don't care if the women comes first and man comes second, or man comes first and the women comes second. It doesn't matter at all. What I am only interested to look at this, you know, my dict women equal to 110, and I can also say that. So because I am accessing it by a key, it is irrelevant at the moment, the positional order of the items in a dictionary. So I can now do, if I want, right, if I want to update, I can take the old value, and if now, right, now I have updated the value of number of women to 10. I increased by 10. So and now we can look at, as we usually see, I can look at, say, right, my dict, what are the things available. You will see a lot of methods are there: clear, copy, from keys, get, items, keys, pop. So let us look at some of the things. For example, keys, you know, items, values, you know, some of the some of them you can experiment yourself. You know, it's very easy. I am using the interpreter like IPython, which I have showed. Whatever I am using this thing, if you're using a script or anything, you can just say pass help and just look at, you know, my dict dot, you know, values, right? I can look at that and I can read what does it mean. it gives me d.values, you know. So what I'm saying, I can say my dict, right, dot values, providing a view of d values. So it will give me values. So what does it mean? I can just say values. So I have 100 and 120, and similarly there is, if you can do keys, right, I get men and women. Remember last time we saw, if you want to really make it to a list, I can pass it into a list, right, like that. And similarly for the values, right, I can pass it to the list function. So what we are getting, so when I use my dict.keys, basically I know what are the keys are in my dictionary. This may be a big dictionary with many keys, so I'll get a list of all the keys in the dictionary, and I can also get a list of the different values. So now how we can use that? So I have a dictionary called my dict, right? So I can run through it using the for loop, right? For say key in my dict dot keys, right? I can say print, for example, key. So I get men and women, or if I want, I can also say now print my dict of key, right? So what does it mean? So I get for key in my dict or keys, print for key in my dict dot keys, I can say print my dict key and print key. So here I am just accessing the corresponding values. Here I am just accessing the key itself. So, and I can, if you want to go fancy, we can also do, you know, maybe update the values, right? I can say my dict of key plus equal to, let's say, suppose there is an error and I increase by 100, you know. So now what happens? So we added 100 to both each of the values in the dictionary. So, and similarly we have seen there are other things, values, right? And there is something called items. What does it give? It gives a list of tuple, right? This is a tuple. It's a list of tuple. So again, if you want to run as a pair, corresponding pairs, we can use that. So what we do, we'll say for example, key comma value, right, in my dict dot keys items. So what is happening here? So this my dict dot keys is this guy here, right? And I am running through that with this. So first time this becomes this, second time this becomes this, which means first time the key becomes man, value, woman, etc. It may not be in the right order, it doesn't matter. What we interested in is the key is associated with the value. As long as we get the key value pair, we are good, whichever is the order that we are getting it. So now, so I can say, for example, just key comma, right? That's the simplest thing. And now we can go through that key value pair and do whatever we want to do. So, and we have also, like, you know, so directory, we can do simple other things. For some id dot get say man, right? So we get the values of man, and we can, if you want, pop, right? So if you want, specified key, so you can pop a specific key. Say if I want to pop, say man. Now if you look at my dict, so we have only women left in the dictionary. So this is the idea of dictionary. So what we have seen, so we have seen that the call signature is very simple. I can say a, right, y equal to, right, that's my dictionary. And I can update the, so now we create a dictionary, and each of the keys x, y, etc. is linked to a specific value, which also can be, for example, I can define a new key z, right? I can create a 1 2 3, right? So I have the z is basically the keys. Now how will you update? For example, I can say a of z, right? This is 1 2 3, and now a of z is basically a list. So I can, if I want, I can get the first one, and I can say 0 1 2. If I say, if I want it to go to 100, right? Now if you look at the here, see this value has modified. So depending upon the task in hand, we can create and modify the structures and make a combination of the data structures that we have already learned, the list or tuples, or or integers, or the combination of thereof, and create a complex data structure and do the and solve or write a code to do a specific task. I believe it was easy to follow, and thanks very much for watching.